I won't do. Stand tall, won't move. Taking over with the crew. It's over when we come through. It's over when we come through. This ain't really nothing.
Welcome to the Black Consultant, baby. This is JP, John Paul.
Good day, beautiful people. This is the Black Consultant, and I am your host, the one and only, yours truly, JP. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a special treat because today's episode, I got my main man, LEX, the hottest brand cigar distributor of the summer. And he just gonna go in and tell his side of the story. Did I leave anything out, my man? Did I exclude some stuff? We just gonna let you tell your side of it. Tell us why you the hottest cigar brand of the summer.
I'm just humbled to be here, man. So I don't claim to be the hottest. I just claim to be LEX. I am the owner of Breaks Cigars, La Verdad Incorporated. I am the co-founder and president. I own the business with my partner, Steve Docks. And I'm also the owner of Silent Victory Inc. / Silent Victory Cigars. As you said, I am a distributor. I just started doing that. I'm getting ready to start creating brands for private brands and labels. I know you asked me earlier while we were offset, how did I start the business? Well, my partner and I started it, I would say, it was in 2017. So we coming up on 10 years pretty soon here. We sitting in my kitchen just talking about how could we have a break. And both of us had the favorite song of Curtis Blow Breaks. And then one day I just decided to trademark it. And we had been smoking at that time probably for 10 plus years each. I've been smoking since 2009, so I'm coming up on 20 years with that too. And man, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. I was in sales and I was a sales supervisor and I was killing it. And I just so happened to see some cap sheets one day. And I thought I was getting a bag until I saw how much money the company was taking home and their return on the actual investment on me. So yeah, I was getting a bag, but I was killing myself. I was probably getting 20% and they was probably getting 80%. Imagine that. And I had just went through a divorce not too long ago, and he was going through some trials and tribulations in his personal life as well. And we decided to partner. And 7 years ago, I had no idea. I knew with my business acumen and his and my salesmanship that it would do something, but I had no idea that I would be feeding my family doing this. I had no idea that I would be feeding my daughter doing this. I had no idea that I would be on podcasts, me talking to you.
yeah, it's the beauty of it. I know you were talking about sales, man. Let's talk about your career about that just a little bit. Just give me a little bit about that, because I know that ties into you being the hottest distributor of the summer, man. Because I remember when you first started, when I met you, I think right around the pandemic, when you first started.
A little bit before then.
Yeah. And I was kind of just watching you, and you was out here, man. You was doing something called, I like to call it guerrilla marketing. You know, you kind of taught me what guerrilla marketing was. You know, you were just in their face. You had everything on, not just on your cigars and boxes, but you teach t-shirts. Now, I remember when you first started doing t-shirts, you got your own coat. Now, I can't even get a coat. You throw cold with it. You got your own coat. I can't even get a coat. It's crazy.
That's 101, bro. But I see what I can do for you. That's about your 10 times. Yeah, I might hook you up.
I'm saying, but no, just tell us a little bit about your sales career, man.
I've been in sales, man, since I was 16, actually 15. My father had me get a worker's permit, and I started working at it was PetSmart. And I met one of my longtime friends, Josh Samuelson, there. And we're still friends to this day because I was just into animals and I was always a different dude. I didn't like everything everybody else did. You know, I wasn't a loner, but I just did my own thing the way I wanted to do it. And I just ran away from retail and sales, man. And when I was shorty, my grandparents and my father had joint custody of me. So my grandmother used to always tell me, well, you need to become a goddamn lawyer or attorney or somebody that talks a lot, because all you do is talk and I stay whooping your ass. That's what she used to tell me, because I always had to have the last word. So I ended up in sales, and I quit several sales jobs. Some of them wasn't paying nothing. Some of them was paying a lot of money, but I was more concerned with being my child's father. I had promised my child when she was born that I wouldn't miss a field trip. Even before she could walk and talk, all she could do was hear me. She was minutes old. I promised her that I wouldn't miss a field trip, a parent-teacher conference, and it seemed like sales was the only thing that would allow me to dictate my schedule. And now I'm going into year 13 on April 1st. So many people laughed at me. They knew I had 2 degrees. They knew I was decently educated. And everybody said, man, why did you leave a cube job where you know you could eventually make X amount of dollars? And I said, I love the freedom and I love having a job that didn't allow me to have a ceiling. Like, I dictate my potential no matter how hard the sales are, how easy they are. And almost 13 years later, I'm a regional manager. And I've been fortunate enough to sit in rooms that most people like myself don't have the opportunity to sit in, to understand marketing, as you call it, guerrilla marketing, to understand profit loss shares. Is the company in the green? Is it in the red? Is it in the black? I've been blessed enough to be a hirer and a firer. I'm also a trainer. I do interviews. I train. I meet. I do loss prevention. It's anything you can name, I do at a regional management level, and it requires consistency and it requires discipline. Like, I just can't snap a jab out because somebody doesn't want to pay, because we're dealing with large dollar amounts when you're talking about insurance claims. And sometimes homeowners get $20,000 checks and they haven't made that yet this year, and they may have been laid off during COVID. COVID taught me a lot about my level of patience and what I needed to be in sales, because I was pissed off that these people was running off with the money, because I get a portion of it because I was commissioned at the time before I became a salary manager, right? So I would say sales has propelled me and promoted me to where I'm at now in my business. It hasn't been easy, but I wouldn't want to do anything but sales.
Okay. All righty. Well, we got all this beautifulness on the table. Beautifulness. I always talk about the beautifulness on the table.
Let's
You
talk
know,
about
but I have been basically on your bumper about getting a Lancero, because you know I smoke Lancero.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, when you gonna get a Lancero in from me? And you finally got this Lancero in, and I've been smoking them faithfully, man.
Yeah.
But we gonna smoke. Then that y'all can see the break. Come to Water Limon. Get your Breaks Cigars. 2 cigar minimum.
Don't forget it. So you lighting up the 7x42 Indonesian Lancero. And you was on my bumper about that, but to tell you the story about that particular cigar, man, I wanted to create a cigar that was dual gender. And what I mean by that is I wanted women to be able to smoke it and I wanted men to be able to smoke it. So that's just the entry level, as I call it, Lancero, because they're gonna get stronger and stronger. I'm not gonna divulge the information on what wrappers I'm coming out with just yet, because I'm still tasting and testing them right now. But it took me a long time to produce that, because I wanted something that had hints of cocoa, mildness, but some heaviness to it, smoothness, some earthiness, and some peppery tones. And it did exactly what I wanted it to do. Both men and women enjoy the cigar, but now I'm working on darker leaves. But it took a long time to construct that and for it to burn the way that it needed to burn when you're talking about combustion, tobacco's marrying, fillers, binders. There's a lot that goes into making a cigar. I could be here for 5 hours talking about that. But you have the 7x42 Indonesian Lancero, which Edward Limon carries and is doing very well here. The 6x60 Broadleaf Double Perfecto, which is a beautiful cigar, which is my top seller, along with the small batch 5x50 Broadleaf Maduro, which has a different filler in it, but it's the same wrapper. And this is actually neck and neck with that as the #1 seller. And then I have my 5x50 Ecuadorian Habano, which is a lovely cigar. A lot of people like to smoke this on their lunch break or on their way to work or whatever the case may be, stepping outside of your child's basketball practice or what have you. And this is my new Nicaraguan line. So this is here to stay. I've made a lot of changes to it. I've enhanced some of the cigars. I've decreased some of the cigars as far as strength. And they all marry together, and they're here to stimulate one pallet at a time, blue band style.
Okay. Now, just tell us a little bit. I know, the struggle with, getting this thing going, and, the process. Were there any times where you like, man, I want to just scrap all this, I'm going through it, sometimes you just question, like, is this really going to work, or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's working very well, quite well. You're the hottest cigar brand of 2025.
Okay.
I'm going to give you that. If whether you take it or leave it or not, you are the hottest cigar brand.
I appreciate that, man.
So I appreciate you for coming out. But just tell us about the little hardships, I know you're going through it.
Before I get into the hardships, Um, I don't do anything without talking to God first. And when I don't talk to him, that's when the drama starts. That's when I have problems. So he told me a long time ago I needed to do this. He just didn't tell me how I was gonna do it. He didn't tell me where the money was gonna come from. So as my faith increased, this became not even a career. It didn't even feel like a job. It just felt like my passion, right? But the hardships were endless. I had my first blend out of the Dominican Republic when I was still producing cigars from the Dominican Republic, and a tornado came through, basically wrecked the entire first project. And we had to start over. The blends were never the same. We tweaked them as much as we could to get back to that particular blend, even though we had the pre-etiquettes and, all the paperwork and different leaves and bells and wrappers and binders and fillers. It never came back quite the way that those particular cigars were that we originally had made. And then right before the pandemic kicked off, that was a rough time, man. Like, the world got shut down. I had cigars on the way. I had took damn near all the money I had in my savings account and damn near all the money I had in my 401k and touched the Roth to make this thing happen out of my own pocket. So it was a little frustrating because I'm not one of those people that had somebody put up $50,000. Like, I earned my right to do what I'm doing. I didn't have many investors at all. And that was tough. And then we had to launch during COVID with all of the different requirements or lack thereof. Certain people couldn't be in lounges, and you had to deal with vaccinations. Are you vaccinated? Are you not? We had a good time in Indiana because that was wide open. Everybody was going to Indiana. And then this over time, the brand just became what it's on its way to now, being just a national sensation, man. A lot of people are getting a hold to the breaks. The internet activity is very strong. As you talked about guerrilla marketing, I just love talking to people. I love communicating with people. And what I've learned in my saga with the Breaks Cigars is product knowledge is key. Like, there's nothing somebody can ask me about my product that I produce, that I finance, because I take pride in it, right? So the hardships were, just like anybody who started a record label, my lights almost got cut off 100 times. Cars almost got picked up. I used to hide my car at my father's house until I caught up on my car note, One thing I realized, though, is my child never missed a meal. And I had the right support. I only had a couple people around me who just supported me and never said, hey, man, when you going to get this up? Don't you think this is a little, So there was a lot of people around me telling me that my dreams were too big, or he's too arrogant, he's too cocky, he's too cocky, or whatever the case may be. But I understood that I believed in me.
Bet on yourself.
I bet on myself, man. I'm glad that I did it. And over time, people that I thought were my friends disappeared. They supported others, but they didn't support me. I think that was the hardest thing, when I saw people who used to kick it with me, who I used to do for, and I would get them my last, and they knew it was my last just so their lights wouldn't get cut off. And they didn't even rock with me, bro. But I got over that because I understood that was just a season for me and those particular people, right? I understood that my vision is not their vision, and they don't have to do that. And you also have to understand people's callings too. You know what I'm saying? Maybe my calling was to be there in their life for that particular season, and it was time for me to move on, for them to move on, because people outgrow each other when it comes to business and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some people will say, you can't do it because they know they can't do it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That killing me with that. But I want to ask you this, because you mentioned your father, and your father, for the first time, when he had his first cigar was your brand.
Yeah.
So I want you to talk about that feeling, and when your father had his first cigar, and the fact that his first cigar was the hottest cigar brand of the time.
Wow. You know what, man? I really got emotional during that time because my father and I have been through a lot. And my father was a single father, basically. My father and I had the same name, born on the same day, January 22nd, 22 years apart. And I know all the trials and tribulations my father and I have been through. And just to see him in year 60 living his life and being happy. Not being torn down, not worried about divorce, not worried about if we gonna make it, what our next meal is gonna be. Like, my father's retired one time over now, and he's enjoying his life working a secondary career now. Both of his children have graduated from college. And I just, when I saw him do that, I knew my old man was finally living his life. You know what I'm saying? And and now he's smoking vape. I was at his house the other day and this motherfucker had a vape. So he, he living his life, man. But that was a monumental moment for me. I'm actually in the process of I'm trying to figure out a way to get it framed with all the different images, if that makes sense, like a 3D frame.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna give him one to hang one in my office, man. But that was a dope moment for me. That may have been my biggest moment of my cigar business and my cigar venture, just seeing my dad enjoy it, because he swore he would never smoke.
And he smoked your
And he
cigar?
smoked, and it was just so organic. He went and got it. He was showing how to cut it. He walked up right up to me. Was like, "Man, I'm about to light this up." And I still didn't believe him, but it was a unique moment, man. It went viral. Let's put it that way.
If you could ask looking back, probably say, I'm 29. If you could go back and give yourself advice at my age, what would you tell yourself? Would you do anything different? And if as a person my age trying to get into this business, what would you say to that person, and what advice would you give to that person?
Man, that's a loaded question. I'll say two things. I'll start with the latter. I will. What I learned is I cannot allow people to live rent free in my head and think about all the people that doubt me, because you just exhaust so much energy and time worrying about why doesn't this person love me this way, or why aren't they supporting me this way? How can they go support this business or do this, but they can't even support their own boy? You know, that really hurt me to my core for a very long time, but I had to bounce back because I realized how it was just tearing me down. Like, I got to the point one day I was so angry at some of my friends I couldn't even get out of bed because I'm seeing what they doing, and they saw me grinding, and I knew my product was better, but they just didn't want to support it because it was me, and that was a kick in the face. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, I would tell myself, good job for betting on me and just getting up every day when it hurt, when I didn't have nothing, when my child ate, but I didn't know where my next meal was gonna come from. And I didn't know how my next bill was gonna get paid because I literally bet everything I had on me. And the people around me too. And that's how I answer that.
Okay. What would you tell somebody like myself, trying to get into the business, and what advice would you give to a young person coaching up?
The advice I would give is to bet on yourself and to let it happen organically. Like, one of the things that I did, I was just in a rush to prove everybody wrong because I was letting everybody live rent free in my head. Well, Lex not gonna do this. Lex is arrogant. So I was using all that as ambition and fuel to my fire instead of just tapping into what I had in front of me. Because I believe I would have gotten a whole lot further, a whole lot quicker if I was just focused on me instead of focused on the audience, if that makes sense. And you have to have a game.
Right on the head.
Yeah,
Say that again.
You can't focus on the audience. You got to focus on what's in front of you, man. Because all people want to do, well, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, people used to love getting a reaction out of me because I am an emotional person. I do carry my heart on my sleeve. I do care about people, and I will give people my laughs. And I won't even throw it in their face, but like, just give me a little reciprocation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you don't like an Indian giver.
Right. You know,
Indian giver.
Like, at least smoke the motherfucker, take one for free. You know what I'm saying? But now you wanna circle back 7 years later.
Well, you the hottest in the game. You know what I'm saying? You the hottest in the game. Now you what you do now? Tax them. Tax them. Gotta tax them now, baby.
Hey, man, I don't even have the energy for that, man. But I would just tell them to bet on themselves and to make sure that they have the right support system around them. And sometimes the people that you need to support, that you think you need to support you, are the total opposites. Some of my closest friends now are millionaires. I've reached out to them, or they've reached out to me, and iron sharpens iron. And you never want to be, in closing, you never want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, I don't enjoy being the smartest person in the room. It's cool to have somebody call me and ask me for advice, but I want to be around people who are okay with me coming into an arena and dominating it and showing me how to get to the next level. Let's say you 60 or 70 years old and you're on your way out. I want you to be able to say, hey, I want to get this baton to you, and I want you to take it to the next level for the next generation. And that's why I started my own distribution company and stepped out on my own, because there's so many black-owned brands, and other ethnicities that are struggling to get into the industry because they're being overtaxed and they're being misused, and they're not given the proper education on what's going on, and just looked at as dollar signs. And I want to be the voice of reason and the voice of change for that.
Well, as we come to a close, you know what they say. Well, that's all, folks. I appreciate you for coming out, my man. Making time for me because I know you're a busy man. I really do appreciate you. And like I said, come get y'all break at the Water Lemon Cigars.
What's up?
The 2 cigar minimum, brother.